Okay, good evening, all my chemistry students. Hopefully you are starting to wrap your head around significant figures. And again, remember that the most important reason that we are doing them is so that we are recording our data correctly, calculating it correctly, and telling the rest of the world how accurate the instrument is that we are using. So if we take a look at the number of sig figs, let's go through these 10 examples. Let me get a pen here. And if we take a look at this first one, you guys can see that I have 125 grams. There isn't any zeros in here, there isn't any decimal places, so this has three significant figures. All three numbers are significant. If we take a look at example number 2, you can see that all of these zeros that I have underlined are placeholders. Now this 0 here is being captured between the 3 and the 4, so all of these numbers are significant, so again I have 3 sig figs. Now, the trick to writing scientific notation, which some of you I know do prefer, is that when you write scientific notation, every single number you write down is going to be significant. So you don't really have to think about all the rules if you write it in scientific notation. So this is going to be 4 significant figures. Now 12,000 seconds is quite a large number, but it still only has 2 significant figures because all of these zeros at the end are placeholders. And then 5 kilograms, 1 significant figure, I have 1 number there. Okay, so now there's going to be more times that we are going to have to determine how many significant figures we are calculating, but then you're going to see all these numbers in your calculator and you're going to have to understand how to round them. So it says to round the numbers indicated in parentheses. So you can see this first one, if I were to count this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 significant figures. It wants us to round it to 2. So I like to go 1, 2, and I look at that 0. And then I think, is that 8 going to do something to that? It's higher than 5, so the answer is yes. So my number is going to be 2.1, and that's how I record it. The next one, number 7, we want 1 significant figure. So I underline the 4 and I'm looking at this 8. Is that 8 going to make that a 5? And the answer is yes. So I'm going to put down a 5. Now some people just leave it like this, but you have to put in your placeholders. 480 is much larger than 5. So remember that I need 2 placeholders here and don't be putting any decimal or anything behind it, because if I do that, then it makes the 0 significant. So 500 with nothing else is exactly correct. All right, if I look at number 8, this is a placeholder, 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 and I need 3 significant figures. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm looking at the second 9. Well, that 9 is going to make that a 0, it's going to make this a 0, and that an 8. So I need 3 significant figures. Placeholder, 0, 0, and I said that's going to round to an 8. Again, written like this is only 1 significant figure. So I need to add 2 more zeros for that to be 3 significant figures. Okay, the next one, right now the way that it's written, because it's in scientific notation, all of these numbers are significant. I have 4. It wants us to round it to 2. So to do that, it's just going to be 5.5, because that 0 after is not going to change this 5, times 10 to the negative 2. All right, now last I'm going to have 3 significant figures, and I have a number here of 15 million. Keep that in mind so you put the right number of placeholders in here. So I take a look at my 6's where I want to round to. The 7, yes indeed, is going to round that 6 up. So I'm going to put down my 1 and my 5, 2 significant figures. My 6 is going to go to a 7, and I have to put in the rest of the placeholders to get out to the millionth spot. Okay, that's your first homework assignment for significant figures. Hopefully you can get this completed and then come to class and take your first quiz. All right, have a wonderful night.